Morning. So today's walk we are starting by the edge of Ilkeston. We're heading to the village of Stanley. A place that's quite significant to myself, which I will tell you about when we arrive there. The car park was known as the Nutbrook Cricket Club. I believe it's called the Arbor Fisher Memorial Ground, just off the road of the A609. Now the gate is always open, well there is no gate, so you can park on there at any time if you want to follow this route for yourself. So today, the route is a good 11-mile circular. This area has heaps of history, which include transport, mining and pits galore, now all gone, but nature's taken them back. So let's go. So we're going to start today by leaving the car park, turning left and then taking the footpath on the right hand side. Morning. We've got cows, a goat, a big goat as well. In fact, that's one of the biggest goats I've ever seen in my life. Getting close to 4 feet at the top of his head. Stocky old thing as well. Hopefully he ain't gonna come chasing me. Oh, another one here, Billy Goat Gruff. This one don't look like he's chained down, but also, oh my god. This one ain't chained down either. It's on off. Next place we're going to is, I forgot. Next place we're going to is Ladywood Farm. And then we're going to head towards the Windmill. Spectacular garden here. I thought it was a nursery. It's actually somebody's garden. Well manicured. Lovely. So just as we've passed this little bit of woodland, we reached the brow of this little hill, and as you can see in front of me is what is called Stanley Depot. So the former Second World War Army Ordnance Depot was a smaller depot compared to Chilwell Barracks, some 5 miles away. It was opened in 1939 to transport items which included coal, army rucksacks and uniforms for the soldiers, and also balloons that were used to distract aircraft bombings of the nearby ironworks and Rolls-Royce in Derby. The depot was closed after the war and reopened in the 1960s as Midland Storage. But as you can still see, the old Ordnance Depot buildings are still there, where they're like half-cylinder shape. We get a better look of the windmill. It's also known as the Cat Fiddle. It was built in 1788 and now a listed building. It is a wooden post mill, meaning that the wooden upper structure of the mill can rotate above the brick-built lower section. By rotating from the base, the mill sails can generate the best performance from the wind. The mill is now privately owned. It is considered an important landmark to the area as the only post mill surviving in Derbyshire. Now I did see a bird earlier, but I didn't catch it on camera. It was like a yellow head. It wasn't like a yellow hammer. It was taller. Not much can go on, even though I've got no idea what it was called. I'll let you have a guess. So you know the usual. Answers on a postcard, or leave a point in the comments if you know what bird it is. So we're just coming onto the road. When we get to the road, we're going to turn right and walk for about 500 metres. So this is Baldock Mill, or Baldock Mill. As we pass through the building of Baldock Mill, which is the footpath, this is all that remains of the water-powered core mill that was built by the canons from Dale Abbey. The mill would have been fed by the water from the Stanley Brook just over to our right. So just as we walk through this little grassed area, you can see there's a footpath in front of us, a stile, but we're going to take the footpath to the right. Going over the brook of Stanley Brook, although not looking very inviting at the moment. So next stop is Stanley Grange. There's a jay in that tree. Not sure if I caught it. There's also a pheasant around here as well, I just saw. So behind me we have Stanley Grange. Oh, it's a bit wonky. Wonky donkey. I'll get my head out of the way. So behind me we have Stanley Grange Farm. It was built on the site of a monastic farm that belonged to the monasteries of Dale Abbey. The farm was once a Catholic school and it was raided twice, once in 1637 and then afterwards by the parliamentary forces in 1642, part of the English Civil War. After that, the school was moved to a different location. An old milk float. Seen one like that for a while. We're just arriving in the village of Stanley. So we've just arrived in the village of Stanley and we're by the church, which is a Church of England church, and the church is called Parish Church of St Andrew. If we take the saint off, we get Andrew Stanley, and that be my name, Andrew Stanley. So let me formally introduce myself. Let me just get off the road as well, because it is a little bit noisy here. So I think this is the perfect place to sit down and have a break. We're in some shade here. Let me introduce myself. Well, you all know me as the Expedition Hiker, and we are in the porchway of the Church of St Andrew, which is appropriate as my name is Andrew Stanley. Preferred to be called Andy, as only my mum and dad call me Andrew, and my sister. I have been hiking trails and footpaths over 35 years and all over the world. I've spent 10 years in the British Army, and while in and since, I've been teaching outdoor education for 30 years. I also teach a bit of art too. Over all those years, I've done numerous charity endurance walking events, several long distance walks, including walking 60 miles in 16 hours and 23 minutes, I believe it was, walking 103 miles in 24 hours, which was non-stop. So for all the walks I've done and teaching and I've felt, I've gained a lot of experience and knowledge. Through the next few months, I will continue with my walks, but I'm also going to start a series of videos on map reading and then other skills you can do in the outdoors to make it more enjoyable and to make it safer for yourselves. And then I'm also going to teach back to basics, as I say. As I teach, I want to get more people out in the outdoors, and to do that you need to know a few little basic skills. You learn how to put a tent peg in properly. There is a wrong way and a right way. With that said, I do have a little thing that I'm aiming to do with the channel. If on the off chance I do make any money out of it, my plan is to actually put it back in to getting more youngsters into the outdoors. Those youngsters that are less privileged than myself, or don't get the opportunity to go out into the outdoors. A few years ago, I spoke to a lad that had never even been out of his local town, so he's never even seen a real cow. And I think that's a shame that there's people in this world that haven't actually seen the great outdoors and experienced it. I might be able to raise a little bit of money, I might be able to give it back and help more children get out there and do and see the great outdoors. Because they're the custodians of the future. And the thing is that we need to look after our planet. And if you enjoy looking at my walks and you're interested in learning about the outdoors with the skills you're going to do in the future, then please subscribe. I think you press the bell for notifications so you'll never miss a video in the future. If you like to share, so share it with others. And also if you'd like to put a like, so a thumbs up is always great. And if you'd like to make a comment, that'd be great too. On each of my videos I always ask a question. If you've got any ideas of any walks you like, but I think that's enough for me for now. So we'll get back to the trail. By the edge of the church is the Cruck Cottage. And the Cruck Cottage dates back to the 15th century. Cruck means the way it was built by using a Cruck timber frame. The cottage is also noted for being one of the only thatched cottages in the borough of Erewash in Derbyshire. After passing the Cruck Cottage, we're going to continue on the road until it makes a bend, and then we're going to take the footpath that's directly in front of us. So the footpath we're on now is the Centenary Way, a 25-mile route or 40 kilometres that starts in the market town of Ashbourne, Derbyshire, and finishes in Ilkeston, just 2 or 3 miles in front of us. Now that I know that, I think we should have to walk its length in the near future. We are just coming off the footpath. We're going to take a left here and then go right onto Beach Lane. So we're just walking into the village of West Hallam, but we have the cricket ground, which is the former site of Stanley Colliery. Opened in 1903, by the side of it was the Stanley train station that opened in 1878. Originally used as a passenger train from here to Derby, before becoming a train for transporting coal and ordnance for World War II from the nearby depot. Although its name was changed from Stanley Station to West Hallam Station due to confusion, as there was another Stanley station further down the line. The rail line ran until 1964. After the closure of the Stanley Pit in 1961, the first record of coal mining in Stanley was in 1311, when Nicholas Bately was brought before the Manors Court for digging coal on Henry de Waldrus land. Nicholas was ordered to pay 12d, D as in denarius, or the Roman penny in medieval times. The currency back then was the pound. Pound was 20 shillings and a shilling was 12 pence, so it was equivalent to 240 pence then. The church in front is that of St Wilfrid's of West Hallam. It is over 700 years old. In the 16th and 17th century, it had a reputation of Catholic sympathies at a time when Catholics were persecuted. So we're just walking along the footpath away from West Hallam, and on our left we have this woodland area which is actually called the Tinklers. So the Tinklers was an open cast coal site which was part of the West Hallam Colliery, and the West Hallam Colliery was just a few fields further behind the trees. Pied wagtail just walking alongside the horse. It was as if the buddies just walking along, having a bit of worm and a bit of grass together. So we're just crossing over the Nutbrook Trail. This part is a disused railway. We're going straight across. We're heading towards the Erewash Canal. Just above the trees there's a Chinook flying over. So we're just reaching the Erewash Canal. The canal is over 240 years old. Originally opened in 1777. It was a feeder canal, which meant it feeds one transport system with another. The Erewash Canal, this was the River Trent to the south, and to the north connected to the Cromford Canal. So we just walked about 450 metres along the Erewash Canal, and we've come to this little mound on our left hand side. Just before we get to the lock, we're going to take a left here and then we'll get onto the Bennerley Viaduct. So in front of us is the Bentley Viaduct, but in the way is this gate. It's got a padlock on it now, Now I do know that somebody walked across this about 2-3 weeks ago. So the Bentley Viaduct was a railroad that went over the River Erewash. It's about, I think it's about a quarter of a mile long. Impressive thing about it is it's made of wrought iron. It's one of the remaining wrought iron viaducts in the country. It would have been nice to cross over, or at least get on top and get a viewpoint. I think there's a lottery funding being given so they can do up the viaduct to make it a walking path, which is surprising that they've locked the gate so you can't walk on it now. But nevertheless, this is the Bennerley Viaduct. The Nutbrook Canal opened in 1795 to link the collieries at West Hallam and Shipley with the Erewash Canal. The canal is now disused, but a wildlife nature reserve covers the course of the canal. Anyway, we're not going to stay on it that long. In fact, we're off it already. We can go up this bit and then we're going to take a left and then we're going to head up to Straws Bridge. So we've just arrived at the Puick Carr Nature Reserve. A carr is an area of woodland vegetation established on marshy land. The area became a nature reserve in 1994. Before the nature reserve, it was a site of the nearby collieries wasteland. So the point that we're at now is called Straws Bridge. So Straws Bridge was a bridge that crossed the Nutbrook Canal, originally known as a Moors Bridge, when the canal was first built in 1796. Once the canal was open, they built an overseas house next to the canal. Several years later, in 1844, a worker called Samuel Straw moved into the property and was employed as the overseer to the canal. From that point, the bridge was called Straws Bridge. I don't think I've seen so many swans in one place before. About 27. So here we are, back where we started. It makes it a bit easy with these trees pointing like arrows on them. Hopefully you've enjoyed this walk. If you'd like to download it for yourselves, then I will leave a link in the description just below. It's been a great nice walk, 11 miles, and obviously you've got to know who I am now, as in Andy Stanley. So if you'd like to see more of me, or at least the routes that I do, then please subscribe. Also click the bell for notifications. Click the like button would be great. Also, if you can share it with others, that'd be super. And if you would like to make a comment, that'd be even better too. So keep safe, look after yourselves, and I'll see you on the next one. So until then, bye-bye hikers.